Direct hit, you've made it this far. That means something here resonated with you, didn't it? Backhand index pointing right, so don't just scroll away. Hit that subscribe button now because what's coming next will challenge you, move you, and maybe even change you. Bell, tap the bell to make sure you don't miss the stories that reveal hidden truths, spark real emotions, and end with twists that will leave you speechless. Speech balloon, you could come back later, but the feeling you have right now, you'll never get this exact moment again. Right arrow, subscribe now. One click, and you're in. Miss it and you might regret it. Only upon reaching the age of 59 did I come to grasp the full measure of what I had neglected in life. That year changed everything. I found myself contemplating, Evelyn, what has stood in your way all this time? What sacrifices have you endured? The inquiries resonated deeply within me, acting as both a revelation and a lesson all at once. Facing the truth turned out to be a formidable task. Yet, the discoveries unfolded in the most unexpected way as I rummaged through my attic. The old house, a place I had deliberately avoided for over 10 years, appeared utterly transformed that day. A palpable sense of anticipation enveloped the scene, suggesting that something momentous was about to transpire. Since the loss of my husband James, with whom I spent 35 years, that space has evolved into a tranquil shrine brimming with memories that are too heart-wrenching to face. On that day, an undeniable force urged me to confront it directly. The attic stood before me just as I remembered, a maze of dusty boxes, forgotten keepsakes, and that heavy, musty scent that always left me feeling uneasy. I took a deep breath. As I approached the first box, I gently lifted the lid and uncovered a photo album that had remained hidden from view for far too long. Simply staring at it left me utterly still. With meticulous attention, I raised the cover, and the initial image seized my full focus. It began during my 20s. There I found myself soaking in the sun's warm embrace on a picturesque beach, a cocktail cradled in my hand, laughter ringing out as if the world had faded away, dressed in a lively yellow bikini and oversized sunglasses. I radiated a calm confidence, as though nothing in life could ever reach me. The vision of youthful, effortless elegance stirred a deep emotion within me. As I flipped through the pages, the sound of footsteps reached my ears. I looked up and saw Julian, my step-grandson, silhouetted in the doorway. 3 long years had slipped by since I last beheld him, since he set off for work. Now, at 29, he had evolved from the slender child I once knew. He had transformed into a confident, broad-shouldered figure. "Evelyn," he said softly, he yelled, clutching a paper bag in one hand and a coffee cup in the other. "Julian," I exclaimed, both surprised and genuinely thrilled. "What brings you here?" As he ambled past, his gaze fell upon your car parked outside, and he bestowed a casual smile in your direction. "I decided to drop in and see how you're doing." Before I could utter a word, he ventured further into the attic, his eyes scanning the space until they landed on the photo album I clutched with a firm grip. "What is that?" he asked, his curiosity unmistakable. "It's just an old album," I whispered, cradling it against my chest. Yet Julian was drawing closer. In silence, he grasped the album and turned to the photograph of me by the shore. "Could this be you?" he asked right away. I nodded, releasing a nervous chuckle. Julian lingered on the picture, his gaze holding steady for a moment longer than I had expected. At last he said, "Wow, you look absolutely stunning. It's challenging to picture you like this." Words escaped me. His voice, rich with admiration and awe, ignited a warm blush across my cheeks. We nestled into our seats as he delicately flipped through the pages. Each photograph seemed to reveal a piece of myself that I had long forgotten. One incarnation of myself twirled in a shimmering red dress at a nightclub, while another reveled barefoot, lost in the rhythm at a rooftop gathering. "You were untamed," Julian remarked, his voice brimming with awe. "Each person harbors a touch of defiance within them." "Years," I noted with a hint of nonchalance. Watching him scrutinize each photograph with such intensity, an unexpected warmth started to unfurl inside me, a feeling I hadn't encountered in ages. Our conversation flowed seamlessly, punctuated by laughter as we reminisced about our past hairstyles and contemplated the profound changes life had brought us. In those ephemeral instances, the energy that flowed between us shifted profoundly. With a decisive motion, Julian closed the album, yet his eyes lingered on me, unwavering. "You are truly remarkable, Evelyn," he whispered softly. "This moment carries a certain magic, as if I am meeting you for the first time all over again." His words left me completely at a loss for words. It seemed as though ages had passed since someone had looked at me with such fervor or conveyed such genuine gratitude through their words. In a state of uncertainty regarding the expression of my emotions, I chose silence, hoping my visage would communicate what my words could not. Julian extended his hand, enveloping mine with a warmth that was both reassuring and steadfast. "Evelyn," he began, his voice gentle and filled with emotion, "you possess a beauty that transcends the ordinary, revealing a truly remarkable essence." My heart quickened as our eyes met. After years of being overlooked, I finally felt recognized not just as the widow left behind, but as the woman I once was. That moment changed everything. The days that followed that meeting were infused with a renewed, lively energy inside me. Julian stayed longer than I had expected. He kindly offered his help in clearing out the attic. We spent countless hours rummaging through boxes, exchanging laughter over beloved memories, and unearthing pieces of my past that had faded from my memory. In those moments, it was not just the attic that came alive. It was I who felt the stirrings within. One afternoon, while rummaging through a box of vintage clothes, I discovered an old dress, a breathtaking emerald green piece, adorned with a striking neckline and a fitted waist. During my 20s, that dress carried a weight of significance, enveloping me in a deep wave of nostalgia as I rediscovered it. "You absolutely must try it," Julian exclaimed, his eyes alight with enthusiasm. For a fleeting instant I hesitated. "I doubt it will even fit me now." He merely smiled and remarked, "There's only one way to find out." Inspired by his enthusiasm, I donned the dress. To my surprise, it fit me flawlessly. Upon entering the hallway, Julian's expression transformed into one of uncertainty. "You look incredible," he murmured softly. "Remarkable." His piercing gaze set my cheeks ablaze, awakening a confidence that had been lying in wait for far too long. As the days transformed into weeks, Julian and I discovered a deepening connection that was both comforting and slightly unsettling. An inexplicable connection lingered between us, a peculiar force that eluded my ability to articulate or dismiss. Yet, intertwined with that allure, a wave of guilt surged within me. On a tranquil late evening, while I was immersed in the task of washing the dishes, Julian appeared quietly behind me and softly placed his hand on my shoulder. His hand rested on my shoulder, emanating a warmth that sent a shiver racing down my spine. "Once again, you're overanalyzing this," he said gently, as if he could perceive the storm within me. How could I ever hold myself back? I spoke in hushed tones, barely audible. "This is not typical. Who has the authority to determine what is considered normal, after all?" he retorted. His words hung in the air, challenging everything I held to be true. Later that night, after Julian had settled in for the evening, I found myself in the living room, lost in the pages of the photo album. We rediscovered those vintage photos once again. The photographs of my younger self appeared to belong to a completely different person, one who embodied courage, audacity, and a sense of freedom. "Where has she disappeared to?" I whispered gently to myself. The reply was clear and undeniable. She found herself engulfed by years of ceaseless responsibilities, enduring pain, and the nagging feeling of inadequacy. Yet, when Julian appeared and sparked a fire within me, I caught a brief glimpse of her once again. As time went by, Julian's visits evolved into a cherished routine for us. With each farewell, the heaviness of his absence pressed more heavily on my heart. As the sun sank beneath the horizon, bathing the porch in a warm golden glow, he faced me, his expression grave. "Evelyn," he said, his voice steady, though laced with a hint of doubt. "I find it challenging to articulate this without misrepresenting my thoughts. Yet I must confess that I have never felt this way about anyone else before." My breath caught in my throat. "I know it's complicated," he continued, "but I can't ignore that these feelings are undeniably real." His candor caught me off guard. "I don't know what to do," I confessed, my voice quivering with uncertainty. Let's work through this together, he stated with simplicity. The journey ahead was fraught with challenges. We faced examination, internal doubts, and a plethora of questions about the genuine importance of our connection. Amidst it all, one thing emerged clearly, unwavering. A bond emerged between us, one that seemed distinct and completely inescapable. After years of grappling with an emptiness, I finally sensed a true vibrancy within me. As I looked into Julian's eyes, a sudden realization washed over me. Life is too ephemeral to let fear hold me back any longer. After that conversation on the porch, I was engulfed by a tempest of emotions. Julian's words reverberated in my mind, filling my quiet moments with a mix of eager anticipation and vibrant enthusiasm. A wave of discomfort enveloped me. The idea of pursuing something beyond our connection felt simultaneously elusive and, in a sense, fated to occur. I was keenly conscious of the whispers that would undoubtedly emerge, the examination that was certain to ensue. The whispers of the neighbors lingered in my thoughts, intertwined with the sharp disapproval emanating from my family. James's family would undoubtedly never understand. They would view it as a deep betrayal of his legacy. More than a decade had passed since James's departure. Could it really have been that simple? Is it wrong to pursue happiness again? One day, as Julian and I rummaged through a box of old letters, I came across a note that James had written to me before he passed away. As I delicately opened the envelope, its inscription, "For Evelyn when you need it most," sent a shiver through my hands. Julian, acutely conscious of the moment's weight, sat quietly beside me. In his neat, distinctive handwriting, James's words appeared to hail from another time altogether. Should you be reading these words, it means I am no longer by your side. Yet, it is essential to recognize that the greatest joy I have ever known came from loving you. Life persists, undeterred by the absence of one among us. It is a gem to be welcomed with open arms, unburdened by regret. Should you come across an individual who evokes laughter in you, much like we experienced, or who illuminates your spirit and energy, embrace that connection without reservation. Cherish them. Embrace life for the both of us. As I arrived at the conclusion, tears started to stream down my cheeks. Julian's hand lay gently on my back, a steady presence as I took in the weight of James's final gift. It was an unexpected gift, one that I genuinely needed. "Are you okay?" Julian asked gently. I nodded, my voice quivering with uncertainty. "I am convinced that this is indeed the situation." To be honest, I discovered a sense of uncertainty regarding my emotions. Was it relief, gratitude, or maybe simply an overwhelming sense of the possibilities that lay ahead? Even with James's reassurances, the path forward was anything but simple. Whenever I found myself in Julian's presence, an electric vibe enveloped us, as though the very air thrummed with energy. I started to notice the nuances I had missed before, the way his eyes shimmered with joy when he smiled, the warm, inviting quality of his laughter, and the understated yet magnetic presence he radiated. One evening, while we busied ourselves in the kitchen preparing dinner, our hands brushed together as we both reached for the same cutting board. The contact lingered longer than needed, and as our eyes met, an undeniable connection ignited. A silent comprehension hung in the air between us. I stepped back, my heart pounding in my chest. "This is rather intricate," I murmured. Julian set the cutting board aside and locked eyes with me. "It doesn't have to be that way," he observed. "Does it really?" I observed, gripping the counter to steady my balance. "I am your step-grandmother. This is quite unusual." "Who decides what is deemed normal?" he countered, echoing his earlier assertion. I turned my gaze away, unable to confront his penetrating stare. "Conversations will unfold, and all will be unveiled. Let them judge," he declared with unwavering conviction. "They do not grasp the essence of who we are. They remain oblivious to the path we've traveled and the profound bond we share." His confidence exuded a duality that was both reassuring and slightly daunting. Before long, murmurs started to spread. A neighbor noticed Julian leaving my home late one night and felt the urge to share their account. By the next week, whispers had transformed into open confrontations. One afternoon, as the sun sank low in the sky, I strolled toward the market and overheard fragments of a quiet conversation between two women, their words laced with intimacy, as if sharing secrets. "Can you believe it?" Evelyn, of all people, and with her step-grandson, one remarked. The other replied, "It's appalling. She should be ashamed of herself." Their words resonated within me, but I maintained my composure, lifting my chin and walking by as though they were mere shadows. Yet deep within I was disintegrating. As I stepped through the door, Julian was there on the porch, radiating a tranquil and unwavering presence. A profound emotion stirred within me, and tears started to gather in my eyes. "They are talking about us," I whispered, my voice quaking with doubt. "Let them," he said, wrapping me in a warm, reassuring embrace. "They hold no significance." However, it wasn't just unfamiliar faces who voiced their dissatisfaction. Upon hearing the news, my daughter Rachel's reaction was nothing short of explosive and utterly astonishing. "How could you, Mama?" she shouted, pacing the living room, her expression a mix of disbelief and frustration. "He appears to blend seamlessly into our group." "He does not," I responded. I endeavored to keep my composure, working diligently to steer clear of any outburst, not by blood and certainly not in the manner you might envision. "That doesn't justify it," she shot back. "What do you believe Dad's reaction would be if he were here right now?" I handed her the Jameis letter, hoping it would shed light on her viewpoint. She absorbed the words in quiet contemplation, her features softening just a touch, though a hint of confusion lingered. "I simply can't comprehend it," she murmured at last, her voice barely a whisper. "He is indeed less mature than you. What could he possibly see that draws him to you?" Her words resonated within me, yet I stood resolute. "He observes me, Rachel, not just as an elderly woman, but as an individual worthy of love." As the weeks morphed into months, Julian and I faced the relentless scrutiny together. At times, the burden of the pressure felt insurmountable, leading me to ponder if it might be easier to just walk away. In times of uncertainty, Julian remained steadfast, ready to reaffirm our purpose in this endeavor, even amidst the shadows of our challenges. He inspired me to delve into the depths and reveal facets of myself that I had hidden away for years. We resumed dancing, a pursuit I had put on hold since my 30s. We set out on hikes, discovered new dining venues, and even planned a weekend getaway to the coast. After all this time, I felt a revival of life stirring within me. Yet, it was not merely the external changes that carried weight. A transformation was unfolding within me as well. I stopped fretting so much about. I started to realize that seeking my own happiness held worth, regardless of whether it matched the views of others. While tending to my garden one day, a car approached the driveway. To my utter surprise, it was Rachel. She stepped out, her expression a mixture of anxiety and determination. "Mom," she murmured, her tone softer than it had been in weeks. "May we engage in a conversation?" I fidgeted with my apron, my fingers betraying my unease. We lingered on the porch for a while, the evening wrapping around us in its heavy embrace. The afternoon sun wrapped around us, casting a warm golden glow. Rachel admitted that she had been pondering your words with great intensity, considering how he views you, and now she genuinely believed she grasped the essence of it all. Her words caught me off guard. She conveyed that a considerable part of her life had been spent trying to fulfill the expectations of others, which had resulted in a profound sense of unhappiness. Yet you, Mom, are genuinely one of a kind. You are uncovering joy even amidst adversity. Emotions. An overwhelming surge of feeling enveloped me as I reached out to take her hand. I conveyed my heartfelt desire for your happiness too. Rachel nodded, a subtle smile breaking through her usually stern expression. "I'm truly putting in the effort, Mom. I genuinely am." With the passage of time, the whispers slowly diminished into silence. As the noise faded away, my family and closest friends began to welcome Julian and me for who we truly are. One evening, we sat on the porch, gazing up at the vast sky, which was sprinkled with a multitude of stars. Julian looked at me with a serious demeanor. "Evelyn," he murmured, his fingers wrapping softly around mine, "you have given me something I never thought I would find. A home, a purpose, and a love so deep it felt unattainable. With a smile, my heart overflowed with joy. You have breathed new life into my existence, I remarked. Indeed, I was confident that our choice was prudent, despite the challenges, doubts, and scrutiny that surrounded us. We uncovered something remarkable and beautiful, a love that surpassed all limits and rejuvenated our souls. As Evelyn and Julian journeyed onward, their unique love story unveils a profound truth. Joy often thrives outside the bounds of societal acceptance. Their courage in embracing their true feelings despite the weight of criticism serves as a profound testament to love and the path of self-exploration. What are your thoughts on their journey? Do you view it as a bold declaration of love, or do you see it in another light? We welcome you to share your thoughts in the comments section below. Your insights on this moving narrative would be greatly appreciated. An introspective and personal narrative would carry profound importance. If this video struck a chord with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to History Minute for more engaging tales that provoke thought, stir emotion,